Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer and welcome to my daily 5 p.m. video. I want to thank you for tuning into this almost unbelievable, mind-blowing type of video. You're not going to regret clicking on this one, trust me. And yes, the title is true. They banned the act of buying silver. You could not buy silver. You were not allowed to buy silver. Now, when did this happen? Well, guess what? It was right in the middle of the Hunt brothers cornering the silver market, which in return, since they couldn't buy any silver, shot the price down. It was at $50, the all-time high. The government banned the act of buying silver and it shot the price down. And why do you think that was? Because they didn't have enough silver. They were panicking and they had to step in and act drastically. And this is a messed up thing. And the scariest part is, since there's a silver shortage on our way, since silver is scarce, since we have Wall Street Silver also trying to corner the market similar to the Hunt brothers, could they ban the act of buying silver again to save their butts and try to act like, to try to portray that we do have enough silver? Because we know they don't. The U.S. Mint admitted there's no silver. But anyways, look at this article. Now, this is what happens when you try to corner the market. Here's how the saga ended. On January 21st, 1980, the commodity exchanges, with the support from the U.S. government, announced that no one could buy any more silver. Investors could only sell silver, and only sales to exchange approved buyers were allowed. The exchanges had rules, and there was nothing the Hunts could do about it. They couldn't buy any more silver. And if they sold their massive holdings, they risked triggering a panic. And of course, that's exactly what happened. And the price went from $50 down to $34, and it plummeted. And guess what? That day is called Silver Thursday. Silver Thursday refers to March 27th, 1980, an infamous trading day which the price of silver collapsed. The collapse was a failed attempt from three Hunt brothers, Nelson Bunker Hunt, William Hunt, and Lamar Hunt, to corner the market in silver. Now you can see how these two articles are very different. This article explains that it was the government banning the act of buying silver, which couldn't allow them to buy it to keep the price up. And this article's kind of making it seem like they were the reason it failed and they tried to corner it and it collapsed the price. See how there's two different stories? If you want the truth, I made a video earlier today and I exposed the truth. I told the real story of the Hunt brothers, how they cornered the market and how they got the price to $50. I showed video evidence. I made a freaking 30-minute documentary on the Hunt brothers. It's a great video. I put a lot of time into it. Highly recommend you check that out. And that's kind of where I got this idea for this video. Now, let's understand Silver Thursday. The Hunt brothers inherited a large fortune from their father, and he was a billionaire who made his fortune in the oil market. Three brothers were convinced that the value of fiat currencies would be severely eroded in the future, and they were eager to protect their purchasing power by buying large amounts of silver. And due to their aggressive purchases, the price of silver rose dramatically from 1979 to 1980, from $6 an ounce to over $40, and it actually went to $50. Now here is the controversy. Here is where everything went wrong. I'm just gonna freestyle it because I don't think they're gonna talk about it in a direct point like I like to make. So the Hunt brothers were buying a lot of silver. I'm talking about hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm talking about billions of dollars in silver. They, in numbers were said they owned approximately 30% of the total above ground supply of silver. That's how much silver they're buying, ladies and gentlemen. And what happened was the U.S. government was getting nervous because they only had enough silver to cover one October contract on the SLV. 1 month. That's how much silver they had. So they had to act fast. And what did they do? Can't buy any more silver, sell it all to us. I can't believe that they actually banned I can't believe that. Imagine nowadays if the government came out and said, you know what, you guys can't buy silver anymore. Imagine that. Imagine that. And it's crazy because the reason they did that is a very similar situation nowadays. See, they tried to deem the Hunt brothers as bad. They were evil, right? And they did that because they didn't want people to know the Hunt brothers were investing into silver because of inflation. Imagine if, because they were famous. This story was way beyond just the silver stacking world. Imagine if, everyone's talking about the Hunt brothers. Why are they buying all the silver? Well, because the dollar's collapsing and they're hedging against inflation. Do you think the government wants everyone to look at them like the good guys and plant that seed that the dollar is worthless? No. So what they did was they flipped the script, made it seem like these guys are just trying to corner the market because they're evil, and it saved face for the government. Now, it's interesting as well because times are a lot different. The economy's a lot different. And nowadays, you have Wall Street Silver, who is trying to do what the Hunt brothers did, corner the market. But they're not looked at like the bad guys as the Hunt brothers were back in the day. So it is interesting. It's interesting. And the truth is, why can't you do both? It's a hedge against inflation, but you also know that it's scarce, so you might as well buy it up right now. I mean, what's so bad about that? But anyways, there's a lot more to that story, by the way. But, that's what happened. So as often happens in periods of financial crisis, rumor mixed with reality to cause investment sentiment to turn. Silver, which had only recently risen almost tenfold in the previous years, now seemed to be in free fall. And that's the scariest part. If they did this again, what would happen if the U.S. Mint admitted it, the Royal Canadian Mint, right? I mean, we're talking about Perth Mint, Mexican Mint. If all of them are having trouble finding silver right now, the U.S. Mint ran out of American Eagles in 2020, right? I mean, we're seeing the Royal Canadian Mint sales up 81%. Demand is up 81%. We see this. The premiums are getting higher and higher, which means it's scarce. What if there isn't enough silver? The COMEX already denied someone, they rejected their contract to turn in for physical delivery. What if it's getting to that point where they have to step in again? Because what would happen if there's not enough silver? What are they going to do? What would they do? You can't buy any. All you can do is liquidate it, give it back to us, wait for things to cool down, and then we'll get our silver. I mean, it's interesting, and it's almost like the gold confiscation days. I made a couple of videos on that where they also confiscated your gold. It was a law to turn in all of your gold. Now, they didn't kick in your front door and take your safe, but it was illegal to have gold. It was illegal to own gold. And if you did have any gold, you had to turn it into the government. Yes, they're going to pay you for it, but you had to turn it in, and that's because they needed it. Interesting stuff, right? The government's shady. Obviously, if they're going to do this, I mean, and that's so sad because imagine being the Hunt brothers, right? They're right in the prime. Silver's up to $50, right? And look, here it is. So let's get a little bit of the backstory, the context. So, sensing that there was now a shortage of silver, the Hunts pushed even more of their chips onto the table. Bunker placed futures orders to buy another 32 million ounces of silver at cost of more than $500 million. See, I wasn't exaggerating when I'm talking about they owned billions of dollars in silver. One Commodity Futures Trading Commission, the CFTC, official privately estimated the Hunts and their Saudi allies controlled 77% of all silver in private hands. 77%. Prices surged, crossing $40 per share. Then on January 17th, 1980, silver hit $50.50. The Hunts' holdings were valued at $4.5 billion, nearly $3.5 billion of which was profit. That's $10 billion in today's time. It was the highest silver prices, and their fortune would climb. But look what happened, though. This is what happens when you try to corner the market. Here's how everything ended. Right while they're living high, all of a sudden the government announces that nobody could buy any more silver. Investors could only sell silver, and only sales to exchange. Approved buyers were allowed. And who do you think those approved buyers were, right? Nobody like us. The exchanges had changed all the rules. There was nothing the Hunts could do about it. They couldn't buy any more silver. And obviously, if they sold, which even if they didn't sell, it triggered a panic and the price plummeted. However, on March 14th, 1980, and here it is right here, the Hunts desperately looked for other ways to prop up silver's price. However, on March 14th, their time ran out. The rules changed yet again. Paul Volcker, the chairman of the U.S. Fed, in a move to control rising inflation, ordered U.S. banks to begin curtailing their loans for speculative holdings of commodities or precious metals were singled out, likely with the Hunts as specific targets, since they borrowed money to buy their silver contracts. American banks and brokerages would no longer lend money to the Hunts. And this is what I was talking about in the video earlier. If they would have just bought physical silver, they would have been fine. But the fact that they were doing these loans and did get a little greedy, doing all these other things, that's what got them in trouble. If they would have just bought the physical silver, who knows where the price of silver would be right now. So anyways, the Hunts were told their broker would begin selling their silver bullion to satisfy it. This caused the bottom, and there we go. The broker would start selling their silver to satisfy it because they needed the silver. This caused the bottom to fall out. The price of silver, it closed at $15. The next day, it traded at under $11, down 78% from its high 10 weeks earlier. So the U.S. government officials bailed out the Hunts brokerage firm, and this was to avert what they could have been a national financial disaster, right? I mean, think about what would have happened if these people couldn't get their silver that they were rightfully owed. I mean, what could they do? They couldn't do anything. They had to step in and take action, even though it was shady, even though it was corrupt. They did whatever they could, and that's the scariest thing, is they could do that again. What's stopping them from doing that again, especially nowadays more than ever with Wall Street silver, with the reality of the dollar's purchasing power, the dollar's strength, with the reality of the situation we're in, with the reality of silver demand in 5G electric vehicles? What are they going to do? Just say there's no more silver, we can't make any more electric vehicles while we're trying to do the green energy movement, while we're trying to go green around the world and build solar panels? What, we just can't do that anymore? No, they're going to tell us we can't buy silver, we have to sell it so they can do that to make those solar panels, to make those electric vehicles. And that's a scary thought. I might be exaggerating a little bit, but if it happened before, and with that situation, it could definitely happen again in today's time. Now, Bunker Hunt died. Actually, I want to go up here. So, Bunker and Herbert Hunt were eventually convicted of manipulation, fined, and forced into bankruptcy. It took them over 10 years to make things right with their creditors. Right? See, if they would have just bought the physical silver, they would have been fine. And it is sad because, they had the right intention. They got a little greedy, and then the government just swamped them, just cased them, right? So anyways, Bunker Hunt died in 2014. Once again, a billionaire thanks to oil holdings he managed to keep. His brother Herbert, 87 years old, and reportedly has a net worth of $2 billion. So Bunker Hunt has always denied that he intended to corner the silver market. When his wife demanded answers after all that silver fiasco, he famously said, "I was just trying to make some money," right? So, and this is a good part too. The saga of the Hunt brothers and their attempt to corner the silver market offers lessons for all investors. See, cornering the market's a myth. Few investors have enough capital to corner the market. Leverage, borrow, and kill. And this is where, had the Hunt brothers stuck with buying silver bullion, they would have survived. And maybe even the outcome, or they might have came out ahead. But their use of leverage commodity contracts where they borrowed money to invest was their downfall, right? Overconfidence trips up even the best. And have an exit plan and the house rules change, right? I mean, especially with the government. So, Silver Thursday is interesting as well. They're extremely, I mean, they're definitely correlated. I just can't see how, and this is what we talk about. I've been posting silver stacking videos for 6 years on this channel, almost daily videos for 6 years. And that situation that we always talk about, that situation, the time is coming, and it's almost here. And the scariest part is now looking at this is what's going to happen when that time comes. Yes, silver is going to explode, right? But it exploded back then at $50 as well. But what happens after it hits $100? Then what? Then what happens? Because everyone's going to be buying it. Everyone's going to be holding it, trying to to keep that wealth. But we need silver for the everyday world. So what's going to happen? Do you think, I want you to participate in this video, do you think the government will step in or theoretically could step in and just ban the buying of silver so they could keep that silver for green technology, the Green New Deal, electric vehicles, 5G towers, silver lithium ion batteries, photovoltaics, colloidal silver? Do you think that they would do that? Because, I mean, if it comes down to it, I just made a video the other day, the below ground amount of silver versus the above ground amount of silver versus global production and exactly what year we are going to run out of silver. I made that video a couple days ago. It's scary to think about because when there's not enough silver, but we need the silver, what's going to happen, right? We want the silver. They need the silver. If you want the newest, latest iPhone, if you want that newest Tesla, you better hope that they buy that silver regardless of the price. We want it. They need it. The producers turn into consumers. The consumers turn into the producers. So what do you think about this? I'm going to wrap this video up here. You know, there's a lot to this, but I wanted to get this out because when I was covering the Hunt brothers story, that was just such an impactful little paragraph. I had to break it off and make another video from it. I wasn't going to try to talk about that entire situation in that video as well. That deserved its own video within itself. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Make sure you like this video. I'm doing a 47K giveaway. We're getting pretty close. If you want a chance to win some free silver, make sure you click subscribe, click the bell so you won't miss the entry video as well. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.